Hi, I'm Aliza Mannon. I play for FC Alliance and I go to West High School. This is No Playbook Podcast.
Hey, thanks for checking out the show. This is the podcast featuring the outstanding athletes, coaches, and experts from East Tennessee. This episode is sponsored by Loco Burro Tex-Mex Cantina and Tequila Bar. Great place to watch football on Saturdays, by the way. It's at West Town Mall. And it's brought to you by Stinnett Collision. Joining me in the podcast today is a phenomenal soccer player from West High School, Aliza Mannon. She moved to Knoxville in the middle of her 11th grade year, immediately connected with FC Alliance, did big things before going down with an injury that would prevent her from being able to ever step foot on the field and officially play for her high school. Still, she's committed to play soccer at Georgetown. So, of course, we talk a lot about that and her recruiting experience. I'll get to Aliza Mannon right after this. Sit tight.
Hi, I'm Zach Stinnett, third-generation owner of Stinnett Collision. As a proud supporter of Tennessee athletics, we know that every game counts. When a collision puts you out of play, we're here to get you back in the game. Family-owned since 1965, Stinnett Collision now has locations in Maryville and Sevierville. With double the space and a team of certified technicians, we'll tackle your repairs and get you back on the road in no time. Don't let a collision sideline you. Visit Stinnett Collision today.
Good. First up, I love it when anybody comes on the show and they're wearing their school sportswear.
Yes, I always like to wear it. Some of my friends say I wear it too much, so.
No way.
I know. I don't think that's possible, but it still happens. So
There you go. Well, Aliza, thank you very much. You had school today. You must have just gotten out not long ago.
I actually have like different kinds of classes for senior year. So today I only had one class, and then tomorrow I have three. It kind of switches off every day. So I got off at 12 today, which is very nice.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been
I didn't have
great.
that when I was in school.
That's what my parents say. They think I have it so easy.
Yeah. But so, I mean, we have obviously I invited you on the show to talk about your athletic career, but I think our connection as kids that were moved states as
Mhm.
juniors in high school, I mean, that could be a whole podcast.
Oh, it's not an easy thing, and I think it's not talked about enough because, I mean, you kind of feel alone in the sense, and no one's ever gone through it. I mean, rarely. And so people underestimate kind of what you're going through, and you kind of feel like you have no one to talk to.
So what was that experience like for you? So where exactly did you move from in Florida?
I moved from a small town called Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. It's yeah,
That's my spot.
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I loved it there. Um, my parents moved down from Knoxville. I was born in Knoxville, but they moved down when I was 1 year old. And then um, I was there ever since. And so my dad lived in Knoxville. He moved back to Knoxville when I was like 8 or so. And so I've always kind of gone back and forth. But I'll talk about it kind of later, like when we get into recruiting. But for recruiting, I kind of needed a little like bigger spot and more exposure. So that's when we decided to make the move.
So was it specific, like a connection with having a program like Sea Alliance in East Tennessee? Was that a draw?
Um, well, honestly, we didn't have any that was definitely like a draw for me to go. We didn't really have any idea what we were kind of getting into. My mom was just like, "We need a solution. We know this has been your dream to play the next level of soccer your whole life." And so she called FC Alliance one day and was like, "Hey, do you guys have a spot on your team?" He's like, "It's actually funny you say that. We're looking for someone with her exact position. And if she was any other position, we would not have a spot for her." Like, and obviously I had to try out, but the fact that I was even like my position and I was even able to try out was just such a blessing.
So having that kind of built-in friendship or being a part of a team, did that really help ease that transition for Tennessee?
100%. Yes, I am still best friends with the girls on my team. Um, I'm actually going on a trip with one of them that goes to a different school this weekend. And I mean, none of them go to West, so it's been kind of like hard in that sense. But I mean, I when I first moved, I was actually going back and forth from Florida to Tennessee November and December. So I didn't really have any friends to go to in Tennessee. And the girls kind of scooped me up. And I mean, I don't even remember there being an awkward stage. They got me right in. We were like best friends ever since. And so it's been great. And obviously the girls at West have been great too. I just didn't know them at first either.
Yeah. So I moved from North Carolina to
Mhm.
Tennessee in the 11th grade, and I was also a soccer player. And
Okay.
we talked to the coach ahead of time and found out what summer camp a lot of the players on the team at
Mhm.
Maryville High School, where they went. And so I actually went to that summer camp. So I spent a week with those kids, a lot of them.
Wow.
So that was a good thing. So when I showed up, just the simple
Mhm.
thing of walking in the lunchroom on the
Mhm.
first day of school.
Terrifying. So scary. I will say I had kind of a advantage, I'd say, because I have a twin brother and he moved up a year before me for football. And so he kind of introduced me to some people before. And so I can't say I had it completely like awful. I had it pretty easy. He, if anything, he moved up his beginning of his sophomore year and he went to the football camp for a week where you have no phones, didn't know anyone in there, and he's thriving now. So he's kind of laid the groundwork for me for sure.
That's great. So I guess
Yeah.
he's had a very successful, been a part of two state championships.
Oh yeah, he got right into a great team and he loves it. So he's very excited for this year.
I was realizing it's kind of crazy. I've been doing this podcast I now have over 100 episodes, and I've done people from every school in the area, from
Mhm.
Chattanooga up to Johnson City. And I've never had somebody from West High School until now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to be your first. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, there have been so many great football players in the past. I've reached out. I just haven't ever made the official connection.
Mhm.
Um, so that's cool. But I've done a lot with FC Alliance
Mhm.
through different marketing um jobs that they've had me do. I do some announcing for their 865 Alliance.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that's awesome. I was supposed to play there before I got hurt, so
well,
yeah.
that's what I want to ask about is how is that recovery from its meniscus and ACL? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Just talk about that recovery process.
Yeah, so I moved up, got straight into the team. It was kind of nonstop soccer every single weekend, and I I'm gonna be honest, I came up, I wasn't expecting a large role in the team. And then as soon as it was kind of a confidence thing because I came from such a small area. And then I kind of came up here, I started playing more. I started playing with these girls and I was like, okay, like I can do this. And my playing time increased. I started playing more and I kind of felt fatigued a lot because the minutes I was getting, especially as a winger, I mean, obviously soccer is not an easy sport, but just like the constant running and the mindset and everything. And I kind of felt as though when I tore my ACL, like my body shut down on me almost in a way. And that feeling was not like it was hard. And especially since I put all of my identity into soccer. And so when I got hurt, it was kind of hard to adjust because I remember saying, if I hate where I live, if I hate when I moved, at least I have soccer. And I didn't have that anymore. And so um, it still is really hard to kind of get through, but I think the people around me have helped tremendously. And like, I honestly wouldn't be there without my support system and without putting my trust into the Lord. And honestly, it's just been kind of eye-opening and almost like I needed something like this to happen to me because I never realized how much I actually do love soccer and how much I want to be out there and how much of a privilege it is to play every single day. So, yeah.
So you didn't get a chance to play with the team at West, but are you still like out there kind of being a part of the team from the sideline?
Yeah, so I go to every single practice, every single game, and I will admit it was kind of hard at first. I became friends with the girls pretty quickly before the season even started, but just kind of being part of the team and not having ever played with them, they had, I think, expectations for me before I got hurt of being like this goal scorer, and I kind of felt like I was letting them down in a sense when I got hurt. And so it's kind of been really um, just like a community they've surrounded it around me and invited me to be a part of something kind of bigger than soccer. So it's been really nice.
It's awesome. So I assume in the spring, some of you were playing with the ECNL club. That's what kind of got you the looks from Georgetown and other schools.
So actually, my recruiting experience with Georgetown is very unique. I went to and you may not be familiar with this, but it's called Soccer Masters. It's an ID camp where they put a lot of high academic schools into a ID camp. And in this case, me and my mom and another teammate of mine, we went to San Diego last year in May. This is when I was still in Florida. I was just trying to kind of get looks, and I was like, okay, I don't have a lot of exposure right now. Anything will help. And I went to a camp with about 200, 300 girls, not expecting much at all, because you're one of 200, 300. And out of that camp, the Georgetown coach called my coach and was like, she really stood out to us. We would love to just get to know her and see where she goes. And I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a dream. This is not real. And from then, that's kind of what aided me to kind of move up here because the Georgetown coach was like, we like you, and we feel like a lot of other coaches would like you. You're just not getting the exposure we need. And even playing down there, and my team was great in Florida. We just didn't have enough teams in our area to play the competition we needed. And so he's like, we like you, but we need to see you play against girls who want to like do what you want to do and to see if you can actually perform at that level. And so that's what I did. And that's kind of what kickstarted everything. And so I thank him for bringing me up here, but I also like it's kind of ironic that he's the first school I talked to and it's where I am going now. So
It's awesome.
yeah.
Well, since you haven't gotten to play against some of the other schools, who are players even on your FC Alliance club that you think have kind of pushed you to want to be better and to take your game to the next level?
Um, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Natalie Heinig. She's on Bearden. She is such a hard worker. I mean, she's up at 6 a.m. every morning and she's working out and doing something to make her better. And even on the off days, she's working and she's always wanting to get the extra reps. And she's someone that people tend to overlook, but she competes every time. And she is always so positive at practice. And she is definitely someone who I'm like, if I can be more like her, I can be the best I can. And she's just such a positive light and she's awesome. So she's actually who I'm going on a trip with this weekend.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that allowed though? Beard and a West friendship? I don't know. That's permitted.
Not this week because we play them September 12th. And I mean, the West girls are ready to get at it. Like we want this win so bad, and I think we're very capable of it. We have a lot of talent on the team, and it's really fun to watch. So it'll be a good showdown for sure.
Yeah. After losing like Liv Stott and Nyla Blue, is Bearden still the team to beat?
I think they will always kind of be the team to be, just from what I've heard. I think they still have so much talent. I think it'll be interesting to see though, like how they perform. Obviously, I've never seen them perform, but I mean, I've seen Liv and I've seen Nyla play, and I mean, they're pretty pivotal players, so
Yeah.
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, they both played with the 865 Alliance Club this
Mhm.
summer, and I've had a lot of these girls that you probably know on the podcast.
Mhm.
Isabella Alley, McKaylee
Yeah.
Ball, Liv Stott, and then some from other areas around the state. But were there other looks, like other schools that were making offers that you were considering?
Yeah, I was looking at a few other schools. I was kind of early in my recruiting process or not early, but like I started getting more looks at my first showcase I went to in December. And from then, I was kind of already pretty heavily talking to Georgetown. And for me, I didn't think there was a better school than Georgetown for me. So obviously, like my dad was like, and even the Georgetown coach was like, we need you to go to other visits. Like, we want you to make sure this is the school for you. And I said I did that, and I still felt like Georgetown was the place for me. So, I mean, Yeah. Yes, there was, but I kind of knew where I wanted to be the whole time.
Why is that exactly that it was the place for you?
Just the atmosphere. I mean, a lot of schools can't say they're seriously competing for a national championship with the academics that they have. There's a very short list of schools that can do that. Georgetown made the Final Four. I think I'm probably wrong, but I think in 2018 and then another year, maybe in 2016. I could be so wrong. But so they're seriously competing for a national championship with their academics. I mean, you hear a school like Georgetown, you're like, okay, that's top academics. I mean, you don't hear anyone like everyone from there is very intelligent and knows what they want to do. And the coach was also someone who I've never like met before. He genuinely cares for the players and he runs his program so well and he recruits girls that are so like-minded to you. And so I went to my visit and I met the girls and they all get along so well and there's no clickiness and that's definitely something I was looking for in a program because I think it's you don't really know until you go there, but those girls I can tell were just so close knit.
That's so great. Having that connection right when you come in
Mhm.
is very cool. Well, what about off the field? What are some hobbies and interests of yours?
So when I lived in Florida, I went to the beach and on the boat so much. So it's a little bit of an adjustment now that I'm in Tennessee. Um,
Real quick, if I may. So, Santa Rosa Beach in that area, what is your favorite restaurant? That's where I vacation every summer.
mhm,
And on somewhere on 30A, we kind of bounce around.
yeah,
What is your favorite place to go eat down there?
I'd have to say I'm also a little biased because I used to work there, but Amici's and Amigos, it's an Italian and Mexican restaurant kind of conjoined. It is so good. They have the best like gnocchi. Have you ever had gnocchi?
No.
It's like a potato based pasta. It is so good. So I definitely recommend that. It's an inlet beach if you're familiar.
My in-laws go there. I think they basically my father-in-law kind of go on a date almost to that place sometimes
Oh,
while we go to places like the Red Bar that
mhm.
it's just like a staple for uh, folks. But yeah, I haven't eaten there myself.
You have to. It's definitely one of my favorites.
Okay. I'm sorry. I interrupted you about what else you got going.
No, you're good. I love also trying new foods, and I have a large sweet tooth, so going to try the crumble flavors each week. But I also love to. I've just gotten into guitar, and I'm not good at it, but I've always wanted to try guitar, and I figured that this is the perfect time since I can't really do much. So guitar. I love going to the gym. I like running when I'm able to run. And yeah, just stuff of that sort, just being active outside, pickleball, stuff like that.
Yeah. I didn't ask, is there a timetable on your recovery?
Um, Not really. We're not rushing it with my circumstances. So there's just no point. We're waiting at least 9 months because the that's kind of like the line where it's like, okay, we know your ACL is like completely strong and there's the chance of re-tearing it goes down tremendously. And so we're kind of waiting until that 9 month mark. I just started jogging lightly last week. So yeah, we're kind of getting there. A little more active, which I like, but it's definitely going to be a long road.
So I like to ask, what's one thing that very few people know about you, but sounds like guitar might be one of those.
Well, I wouldn't say maybe I'm just not good enough to say that yet. I
Got it.
mean, I would love to be. I want to be like Zach Ryan on the stage, doing his guitar. But I would probably say I I'm not very good. This may sound surprising because I know I'm like a talker, but I'm not super great in like really large groups. And a lot of people like tend to think like, oh, I can go talk in front of large groups, but I get so nervous. And so That's a lot. People tend to like think that, but
Can I
yeah.
tell you something? As somebody that I worked in radio for a long time and
Mhm.
I do PA announcing and all this stuff, I do a lot of public speaking. And I can tell
Mhm.
you, everybody gets nervous.
Yeah.
It's just that like adrenaline rush of am I going to get through this? And then when you it's almost more fun if you stumble or lose your place, like coming up with a way out of it. It's almost like that's what's exciting. So,
Mhm.
but everybody does get nervous in those
Yeah.
situations.
Yes, but in my sense, like I tend to be like a nervous talker if I'm nervous, but in large groups I kind of go like silent. It's such a weird thing.
Ah, I don't think that's that unusual,
Maybe
but
not.
got it.
Just yeah. So
Yeah. Well, how about as a player? You have an unforgettable memory on the field?
my freshman year in high school, we went to the Final Four, and in in Florida at least, private schools and public schools are not divided. Um, they're in the same kind of conference. And so we were the last public school to make it. Everyone kind of underestimated us, and it was so exciting. We didn't make it to the final, but I remember the adrenaline of all of us just getting on the bus after, and it was so much fun. So definitely that. Um, yeah, that was probably my top.
Awesome. Well, I always like hearing stories of people that have been recruited. I guess kind of advice that they could give. So if there's another player from West or let's say a ninth grader that's playing the East FC Alliance system, like some advice that they might benefit from your experience and how to get recruited. Is it just go to those ID camps, take those opportunities?
I would honestly just say to take your opportunities. And for me, the biggest thing was kind of being the first to reach out. And even what some coaches have told me in my experiences is like, make sure you reach out, but don't, if you don't get a response, like keep reaching out. Make sure the school knows that you want them, because a school isn't going to see your email and be like, she emails too much, we don't want her. They're going to say, oh, she wants to come here, like we want a player that wants to come here. And if you keep just making like a highlight film every few games, sending it out, don't make it too long, but just to kind of let the coaches know like what you're doing and how you're doing. And I think that's really important to just keep coaches up to date. Is that
That's
okay?
great. That's perfect. Eliza, thank you so much. We'll be following your career as it goes and wish you best of luck as you move on through your recovery and move on into college soccer.
Perfect. Thank you so much. It was nice to talk to you.
Thanks so much. You too. Have a good one.
You too.